So just to reiterate, but about with the other to be the same as all the other videos that we're doing this week. We've missed a week of doing videos because Mark was running up and down in Olinda in the carnival, quite a big thing, and
Yeah.
I was off doing other things somewhere else. So
Eh,
back to the present, shall we?
yes.
So let's get straight to it. It's been the center of attention of all the news outlets yesterday. No, not Andrew Mountbatten Windsor still. The grooming gangs inquiry, which really does need to be brought out into the public spotlight, as it seems that police cars were used as a taxi service to transport youngsters to and from cops now. I'm sure that one will come out in a day or two. Not even the EU wanting to give Ukraine nuclear weapons. Well, the UK, France, and Germany do. That's the group of the coalition of the willing, as we
Mm.
all know. But no, none of the above, because today is the by-election of Gorton and Denton. This by-election will serve as some sort of barometer for the rest of the country, a sort of canary in the coal mine, if you
Mm.
as we're not in the UK, we are obliged to not report or do any journalistic reporting on this by-election.
Yeah.
British press are not allowed to today. And we're not obliged to read out all of the names of the candidates either.
No.
I just want to concentrate on the top four who have appeared in the polls. It's difficult, I must say, to find a winner worth their salt amongst any of them. The local population will either have to vote, if they do vote, for the best of the
Mm.
worst,
Mm.
or just go downright crazy and vote for the most extreme. That's the choice that they have.
Yeah.
So, what does the bagatelle of candidates offer the people of Gorton and Denton? Well, the Green Party, led by a bloke who spent half of his adult life looking at women's breasts, if he's the leader of the party, we can only imagine what comes under him as a mere MP. In this case, Hannah Spencer, she's the candidate who sent out an advertisement, a TV advertisement in Urdu, which tells us a lot.
Okay. The green. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, the Greens' policy announced yesterday was to house all boat migrants, offer them free health service, and pay them a living wage without them even having to get out of bed in the morning.
Mm. Yeah.
All being funded by Mugsy. If the people of Gorton see that as a way forward for the UK, it looks like I got out at the right time. I can tell you, all those years ago.
Yeah. Well. Yes.
Labour are fielding Angelica Stagia,
Mm.
it's a name to conjure with, who will continue smashing the gangs
I'm not quite
and
sure that was a good way to say it. Yeah. Sorry.
do absolutely nothing declared in her party's manifesto.
Yeah.
That is, of course, if her boss has anything to do with it.
Uh,
The seemed like a good idea at the time Reform Party
yeah.
is pushing their man, Matt Goodwin. The problem with Matt is uh, I'm not sure if he's conservative or reform. They seem to be getting so mixed up together recently. Has reform been diluted with the throngs of ex-conservative failures? Will the voters take that in consideration when they put their X in the box? And of course, the horse with three legs, Charlotte Cadden, who only appears in the polls running up in the election because she refuses to call herself others. Because you know they have the main
Yeah.
contenders and then
Yeah. Yeah.
others, and
Okay.
then others
Others.
all lumped
Yeah.
together. So she's uh, she's a conservative candidate. But as any punter will tell you, even though it seems like a no chancer,
Mm.
the horse with only three legs, if the odds are at the right price, it's always worth having a 50 pence each way bet on them,
Yeah.
just for fun.
Mm.
So the people of Gorton and Denton, hopefully, this podcast will reach you before the polling stations close. And I ask you to sit down for 5 minutes and think carefully of which direction you want your town to go to. and hopefully you'll vote accordingly. I think the future of the UK depends on you.
Well, yes. Okay. Um, right. With regards to voting in the UK, I mean, yeah, it's always held true, possibly for a lot of elections, but yeah, you don't, as you pointed out, you don't necessarily vote for whom you think would be the best candidate. You vote for who you think is the least worse. Um, um, yeah, you got to read it. Which okay, it's not an individual level, and we're now talking party level. Um, which party these represents? These people represents, yeah, that represent the party which best aligns with your values. Um, I would advise people against actually doing what's colloquial tone as protest votes, because we're not in a position or the UK isn't in a position to be playing silly games with it ourselves. Um, it, I mean, okay, from the polls I saw, is that okay? There's one certain party, the Turquoise Party, was in the lead, but the proviso is, yeah, okay, then the party that's green, it just has to be good, yeah, yeah, it wasn't too far behind. And some polls I saw them actually taking it. Um, Now, okay, it's obvious the the demographic vote thereafter. Um, I don't know the population of the area. Um,
Well, I suspect that if the Green Party candidate is putting out her adverts in Urdu,
there is some reading.
that
Yeah,
might give you a hint.
yeah. I mean, it is a you say I think it's actually a two-horse race between the Greens and the Reform. Two, I wouldn't say new kids on the block, but two outside would have been outsiders probably eight months ago. Um, So, which is an interesting shift in focus.
But we can't forget about the fact that Gorton and Denton
Mm.
have been solid Labour strongholds for time immemorial.
Well, that's the other thing to remember is that the Greens, the Reform, and one of the others might rip the votes apart, and you could end up with the
And let Labour in.
Let Labour in on a very slim majority with no real mandate.
Yeah, right.
Um, which, okay, I've been saying for ages, it's British politics. We've got too many parties now in the UK for the system that we run, the first past the post system we run.
Mm.
I've been saying this I saw this coming some years ago. But then what's the other thing? We've got proportional representation, which is equally as heinous sometimes. Um, I don't know. I haven't got any solutions. So I'm not going to stand here and over criticize. Yeah, oh, we got too many political parties. There's something that does have to be resolved. I mean, if we end up with too many hung parliaments, which could potentially happen quite a lot in the future, or even hung decisions at a local level, then we might have to reconsider, or the voters in the UK and the administration may have to reconsider how we do voting. Um, I mean, it could be that you'll end up with all sorts of alliances, which we have in Brazil. Okay, it's a totally different system in Brazil, the way they vote. But yeah, it only works because there's all sorts of coalitions, alliances, and supports, and yeah, it works sort of. Yeah. Um, I'm not. Yeah, it doesn't always hang together that well, as we've seen in recent times. But okay, that's Brazil, not the UK. Now, okay, people have got to make a choice. I would say vote with a combination of your heart and your brain. Um, and yeah, sometimes people vote their heart. I mean, it may be a case people have always voted Labour, the hardline Labour. You're never going to get them to vote anyone else, which okay. is fair enough. It's not something I would do. The same with hardline Conservatives. They're always going to vote Conservative, hoping that the Conservative Party will realign itself again with its values, much the same as the Labour should be, its traditional values. Does reform offer anything else? I'm not sure they're becoming Conservatives Mark II, and I know you're opposed to them shipping in, people
anymore. It's a bit like
yeah
the UK wanting to stop the boat people coming in.
yeah now with regards to Matt Goodwin coming across and stepping in, yes, he sounds more like a Tory than he does probably the Reform, but he is still representing Reform. He's still if you agree with Reform, there's no other options if you want to vote right wing, really, to stand to get your a person in that best represents your views. Again, with the Greens, they're the only left wing choice for people.
Well, the Greens and Labour.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
Labour.
could they lay together in the same bed?
I think they have done before.
Yeah. I mean, the Greens are. I used to think they were harmless hippies. I'll probably get it. I mean, I'm glad there are parties like the Greens on environmental issues who exist to bring up things, stop extremes of capitalism from destroying green belts and everything else, the countryside. Yeah, I'm pleased they exist. I do consider their methods a bit extreme sometimes, but okay. Yeah, there's no harm in rising up your concerns, and they do it politically as well. If you agree with us, you can vote for us. You can vote for us in, and then you vote for your changes that way. I do think their efforts would be best put speaking to other politicians and getting on to reform. Let's not go extreme against the environment. But anyway, I digress. I mean, I've read so much, not so much. I've read a bit about what's happening there. It's such a close thing, as you said. It is a canary in the cage, possibly for how the rest of the country think. Possibly. I think the rest of the country hope reform get in. That's my general feeling, just looking at the internet. Yeah. Hope reform get in to send a message. And again, to the current administration and the previous administrations.
I think what's going to give us more information about how the country will vote in another 2 or 3 years' time is not necessarily the results of this by-election, because it's only one by-election.
Yeah.
Right, and we know that the by-election is in a heavily Labour dominated place. With these relatively new alternatives. You've the Communist Greens leader, and you've got Farage, albeit local candidates.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the result in such as that. It's going to be more, I think, the reaction of the rest of the country when these results come in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, if for example, I mean, if the Greens do get in, that's going to send sort of shockwaves, probably more shockwaves than reform everywhere. They're more than if reform gets in. Reform, oh well, they've done it again. One more person in front of that guy who said the rubbish is building up in front of him. Yeah, which is the Birmingham politician, which actually I actually found. I don't think anyone got offended. I found it actually quite amusing. It's very British type of humour, which I was pleased to see. Yeah, I'm going to insult you, but I'm going to insult you in a humorous way. And yeah, Farage had a grin on his face. It's all prestige. He puts the cameras actually on reform. Hey, but it was so I think the Greens getting in would actually send shockwaves for everyone, senior levels and everything else. But it depends on turnout as well. if it only has a 25% turnout and the Greens get in, that doesn't necessarily represent a massive Green turnaround. It's just more represented from the people that probably got off their sofas or found the time to walk to the polling stations.
Well, I think that is another aspect you need to look at, because if
Mm,
the turnout is only low,
yeah,
it shows that the British public are turning their backs on the election process.
yeah. I mean,
And
I,
let it be a cautionary tale for the rest of the country that if you do turn your back on the voting
mm,
process, even the minority of a minority
yeah.
can end up ruling the roost in this country, and sending it to the dogs, straight to the dogs, straight
well,
away.
well, we had that. I mean, when you've got 60% of the voting population vote, as happened in the last general election, and of that, about 30% actually put the current administration in. They don't exactly have a mandate, but they won by the rules of the game, as it were. There's no suggestion of any wrongdoing, and I'm happy. I explained that to people in Brazil. Yeah, how can they?
Well,
Well, they
in,
won
in the
first past the
in the
post. Yeah.
in the last elections in the US,
Mm.
the Republicans managed to rally the troops,
Yeah.
and the turnout was quite good.
Mm.
And so I suppose the political parties in the UK are gonna have to do the same.
Well, yeah, it's galvanizing the. I mean, I do think actually people are now a bit more interested in what's going on in politics out of fear or out of more excitement. It could be a combination of the two, that they might actually get out and vote. Well, my vote does actually count. But like you said, if they're feeling, yeah, ignored by whoever their local um, MP is. Now, I saw something the other day as well, as they've actually changed the job description of MPs. There's actually a document about the job description of MPs, and it's online. It recently changed last year, and the emphasis wasn't necessarily about representing the local people, but representing the party or the nation as a whole. Yeah, this changed. Yeah, it's on there. I'd have to dig it out, which was quite a
I think I
surprise for me.
think I
Yeah.
think if the interest in British politics gets any less,
Mm.
the candidates, they're going to be deciding who gets elected by playing rock paper scissors.
Well, I mean, it used to be a case if it was a draw, it was a flick of the coin, wasn't it? But yeah, um, yeah. I mean, in Brazil we have endless cycles. The first round, the second turnout, the third turnout.
Yeah.
By the end of it, you're exhausted. How many times do
Well,
you want?
I mean, they can do in the UK. If you
Yeah.
get a hung parliament,
Mm.
then they'll have to do it again. That's when the coalitions start. That's when
The coalition stuff. Yeah, I mean, they're trying to have coalition. I mean, it destroyed the Liberal Party last time going in with the Conservatives, and that was only because Brown says, well, to the Liberals, well, why don't you just all become Labour anyway? And that really upset the Liberals. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I must admit, Liberals and Conservatives forming a forming an alliance never really seemed well. It actually,
well, they
yeah.
did with the SDP, didn't they? Many
Well,
years.
yeah, that was Liberal. Yeah, that was Liberal Labour, wasn't it? More Liberal Labour. They formed like that, not with the Conservatives. Liberals with the Conservatives. I mean, Liberals have always been the idealists, sometimes the kingmakers, admittedly. Um, I mean, if you go back far enough in English history, it used to be Conservatives and then the Liberals and Whigs and I forgot the Whigs and Tories years ago. The Liberals were the Whigs. Um, and then Labour happened. Was it 1912, turn of the last century? Labour came in from the union movement. Yeah, okay, based on the back of a socialist ideal that that UK was eventually going to start on the path to become a communist state and become the first communist country. Um, but it's I mean, things happen in waves as well. I mean, yes, you and I have a bit more than a passing interest in politics. We've both got a reputation for that as well. Yeah. Both here amongst expats here as well. Um, people say to me, oh, yeah, you're interested in politics. Well, I wouldn't say that. Yeah. You know about it. I think everybody should know about it. I do think it's important that um, I once read something that the woman who's begging on the street corner, if you don't vote, you're as responsible for her being there as the government and the officials are. Yeah. You vote for change, and that's what it should always be. But yes, you're quite right. If you don't feel that your vote actually means anything, why are you going to take the effort to spend 40 minutes to go to a polling station and go back again? Yeah. Um,
Listen, people of Gorton and Denton, take 5 minutes of your time out, sit down, think about it, and don't just try and vote who you think's going to win so that
mm,
you can be on the winning team.
mm.
Think about the country, think about what you're doing.